Hey everyone, Ryan here with Pulse of Positivity, and today we've got something a little bit different. It's a Q&A with all of you. Over the last few weeks, I asked you all for some questions and you did not disappoint me. We've got everything from binder builds and favourite sets to collecting tips, and even a fun few curveballs. Some of you sent me some funny questions. So I'm going to do my best to answer all of these. And as always, this is just about sharing the hobby together. No flexing, no scalping. It's all about having a nice community and just sharing our love of Pokemon together. And we're just here to have a chat today. And yeah, before we start, if you haven't already, then please consider subscribing, like, comment, all that good stuff. Join our Discord. It's a great little community. And maybe you might even consider becoming a member if you really want to support me. That would be amazing. All right, let's get into this. I've got my questions here on the screen, so I'm going to read them out one by one. We're going to go through all the questions that have been sent in. So Ben Darlow says, hi, my question for the Q&A is... Oh, and as well, I'm just going to read whatever name. I know some of your actual names, but I'm just going to read whatever name is your name on either YouTube or Discord. I'm not going to actually say your real names or whatever if I know them. Hi, my question for the Q&A is, when you get multiple random packs, for example, in a collection box, you get 2 Journey Together and 2 Destined Rivals, for example, of a set you aren't interested in, or you're not looking to complete the set. In this example, I'm hypothetically not interested in Journey Together, but I am collecting Destined Rivals. What do you do with the cards from Journey Together in this example? I'm finding myself having multiple different sets in one binder, then having to rearrange the binder when I come across another pack in a tin or collection box. I don't want to keep getting new binders and having a handful of cards for each set in a new binder and not filling it because I'm not interested in the set. Sorry, it's a long and confusing one to read. Hopefully you can understand it. I think I get what you're trying to say here. So you're trying to collect one set, but you've only got one binder and you're putting everything you get into one binder. I'm not sure, based on your question, if you're putting all the cards in the binder or just the hits. Like, are you putting the holos, you just the rare ones, or is it just when you get an EX or an illustration rare or something like that? If you're trying to master one set and you're putting other stuff in the binder, then I would suggest maybe not. You don't have to use a binder for everything. So maybe if you've opened an ETB, then maybe I consider putting all your bulk into an ETB or some kind of box. You can get bulk boxes that are really good for sorting all your cards out. And then you could put little dividers between each set in there. That has been linked in the Discord a few times, but I will put the link in the description as well for this because they're really handy to sort your cards out. You don't need to buy a binder for every single set. You don't need to do something like that. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out if you're putting all your cards in and then say you open another Destined Rivals pack, you're having to shuffle everything to put that pack of cards in there. I mean, personally, if I'm putting everything into one binder, I would just put EX, illustration rare, whatever, as I get them. I wouldn't resort and order them all. But it sounds like you're trying to order them all in one binder and then moving stuff around. I'm not sure. Yeah, like I said, get some kind of organization box. A binder is, yeah, for those rarer cards. I'm not sure if I've answered your question very well, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure exactly how you're organising it. Yeah, I hope that's helped. And maybe just try and avoid even opening those packs. You could trade, if you're not like, if you get a box and it's got 2 Journey Together and 2 Destined Rivals packs and you don't want the Journey Together packs, don't open them maybe. You can consider trying to trade them for packs that you do want to open. Might be a possibility, or I don't know, or just avoid boxes that have other packs in that you don't want, unless sometimes we're forced into that stuff because it's not as easy to get the loose packs of the ones you want, and that's how they get you. I hope I've answered your question there. I know that wasn't the best, but yeah. So thank you for your question. Next question comes from Dan. Hey mate, dropping you a question for your video. What is your favourite way to collect? Do you like to master set, collect cards that interest you, etc.? I think I've had a few different ways of collecting. I've got a few different ways about it. I like to master set stuff. So my initial way of collecting is when a new set comes out, I like to open some because it gives me my own opinion on if I like that set. I'll open a reasonable amount of packs. Normally, because now I'm doing this on the channel as well, I have a good schedule of when a new product or a new set comes out. I'll open some, and at that point I will decide, do I really like this set? Have I really enjoyed opening it? And then I'll consider buying a binder for a master set if that's the way I'm going. If not, then normally for a new set I'll get an ETB. So if not, then I'll just keep that stuff in an ETB and it will go to the side. So I have a little bit of everything. I do like to master set stuff, I do. But I've toyed with all different ways of collecting. I mean, I now have a binder where I just have illustration rares and like SIRs and EXs and ultra rares and stuff from different sets, all just piled into the same binder, which I am slowly putting out on the channel in shorts. Like, it's just my little like showcase binder, I call it. But I was considering like putting some themed pages together. So I don't know if you've seen, I did the Reshiram page, and I've just toyed with lots of different stuff. I'm a bit all over the place, to be honest. But yeah, I do like a master set. When I find a set that I really do like Destined Rivals is the one. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get all of that. I really do want to master set that. But I don't feel that way about every set. But I do like to open some of every set just to see where I'm at, if that makes sense. You did ask a second question as well. What do you look for in a card? Do you have a favorite illustrator or favorite Pokemon? Favorite Pokemon's a difficult one because I have so many. But favorite illustrator is definitely Shinji Kanda. I think his artworks are incredible. And definitely one day, this goes again into the collecting thing, one day I would like to have a binder or just a collection of Shinji Kanda artworks, because he is by far my favorite artist. So I hope that answers that question anyway. And the next question is by Flash. So Flash says, what can we as a community do to combat scalpers? The measures some stores put in place just don't work, e.g. John Lewis gets bot attacked every time there's a restock. Yeah, I understand you there 100%. Even if you're quick, you have no chance. And they don't care because they get paid either way. Smiths are doing it right by doing in-store orders only, but is there anything else we can do ourselves to help each other out? Also, an idea for the Discord, can we do a trade week for every fortnight, month, focusing on a particular expansion? That way we can help each other fill our binders. Yeah, I can look at doing something like that. I mean, it's pretty open the way we do trading in the thing anyway. So if you are looking for like certain stuff, just ask. I'm sure people will help you out. You don't need to wait for a specific time in the month. But we can have a look at it. Going back to the original question, it's very hard to stop scalpers, and I have some ideas, but I don't have enough leverage to be able to really do anything about it. The best you can do is just buy at RRP from where you can on stores on High Street, and only buy at RRP. By not buying from scalpers, then they don't have anyone to sell to. And if literally every single person thought the way that I do and that we do about this, where we just won't buy from them, then they won't have anyone to sell to, and then they can't do it anymore. And literally you can just go to a store and buy at RRP as intended. But unfortunately, the way it's going at the moment, only reason scalpers exist is because people are paying them. So the only way you're going to stop them is by not paying them. But some people have more money than sense, or some people get so much FOMO and stuff that they will just buy it. It's like the recent drop on the Pokemon Center, Phantasmal Flames, and even the Charizard UPC. Like, we did really well in the Discord. We got loads of stuff. I think most of us managed to get an order in. But then you go onto eBay, not even 10 minutes after the drop has happened, and people are selling on eBay, and people are buying them on eBay. Like 2 Phantasmal Flames ETBs for £400 plus, which is crazy when you've just bought them on PC for £54 each. Yeah, that's a crazy one. So just don't buy stuff from scalpers. It's incredibly competitive, and I know we've just been talking today in a Discord actually about someone who has a local store who is selling Mega Evolutions early and is selling them for like £200 a booster box before the official release date. For reference, this is the first. It's the first today. This doesn't come out till the 10th because we're meant to be delayed. I don't know why we're delayed, because it seems like most stores have already got their delivery and are waiting for the release date. But anyways, yeah, I do think Smiths are doing it right. I do think doing those in-store pre-orders, limiting the stock, is a good way to do it. A lot of online stores just need to get better security systems. They don't have bot checks at all. It's like also today on Amazon of all places, they had Mega Lucario? No, not Mega Lucario. Mega Latias box that comes out in a couple of weeks. It's $19.99 RRP. Apparently they went up. I saw a ping for it, and they went up and then went out of stock immediately. And apparently they set the limit to 30 per person. Why the hell would you set it to 30 per person when you know there's such demand for product? That shows no care for the customer base at all. And I don't know why, because they're going to sell them one way or another anyways. I guess they're just trying to save on shipping, and they really don't give toss. Because if they sell 30 to the same person, it's going to cost them less in shipping, isn't it? I think one day what I'd like to be able to do is call these companies out a little bit more. But when you're just a small channel like mine, I don't really have that leverage. If you're one of these, I'd like to see more being done from like big influencers in the community. I want to see more being done from like Deep Pocket Monster, PokeRev, some of the UK ones like Randy or PokeChloe, and I know they're rare, but I know they're on the side of selling stuff at market price and scalping themselves. But some of those genuine, Coop's Collection is a good one as well actually. Some of those genuine bigger channels, there is no reason they couldn't be using their presence online to go at these retailers. If you go at them on X or Instagram or whatever and message them publicly, like outing the issue that is happening and getting them to address it, or seeing if they can come up with some kind of address to the situation that's happening. But I feel like it's almost like they don't want to bite the hand that's feeding them almost. It's like they get into that privileged position and they don't want to lose it, so they're quite happy getting their Pokemon cards and whatever else, and as long as they're getting their stuff to do their channel, then they might not agree with what's going on, but it's almost like you turn a blind eye because you're worried that it's going to affect you, if that makes sense. And they don't want to do that. I don't know. But I hope I've given some kind of good account of what I think of scalping and measures to stop it. Just don't buy from scalpers, basically. Okay, we've got a few questions here from Foolish Overlord. Okay, I have a few questions. Have you ever lost a card? How did you handle losing cards? AKA, how did it make you feel? Did you replace them? Were they replaceable? I know why you're asking this question, mate, because I know you lost some cards recently and you don't know where you sent them. You think you accidentally sent them off in a freebie to someone and no one's owned up to where they've gone. It's really unfortunate. I have never lost cards, apart from if you're counting my childhood cards, and I do feel some regret for that. There's nothing I can do about it. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do about it now. They're gone. They were around my mum and dad's. I have no clue what happened to them. So they're gone and lost forever. I haven't replaced them. Would I like to replace them? Yes, one day, definitely. It was a lot of like just base set stuff into... I had some rocket stuff and fossil stuff. Yeah, it was real around that base set time. But recently I haven't ever lost a card, so I can't really account for that. I think it's going to be hard, especially if they're expensive. I think you said you were going to grade some of these cards, so I'd imagine they've got some value to them as well. So I do feel for you. It's tough, but don't let it get to you too much. I know that's easier said than done. Your earliest memory with Pokemon trading cards as a hobby and how it made you feel. So again, was when I was a kid, opening base set packs. I have a few memories that I remember from back then, going into local shops even. I remember Woolworths. Anyone that remembers Woolworths? I used to get my Pokemon cards from Woolworths. Yeah, I used to love it. I remember one time opening, I think I've mentioned this before on the channel, opening a pack of cards on the way back from somewhere. Like I was in the car and I was just opening a pack of cards and I was so psyched to get this trainer card because it was rare and it had the little star, and I was like, oh my god, and I don't know, and then showing it to everyone. It wasn't even a shiny, it wasn't even a holographic, it was just like a non-holographic trainer rare card, and I loved it for some reason. And they were well loved, those cards, because I think, I know I haven't got them anymore, so I can't really remember, but I think a lot of them had quite a lot of wear on them. It was to get out. And I think that's the thing as well. I think it was a bit of the community spirit, because all of the kids I knew used to have Pokemon cards, so we used to show each other our Pokemon cards. It was like who had the best Pokemon cards and stuff. But It was a good time. I do wish maybe back then my parents had been a little bit more supportive of the hobby that I'd had, been a little bit more invested, maybe got a binder for me, any of that kind of stuff, but there wasn't really any of that level of support. I guess I think my parents maybe saw it as a little bit of a waste of money. I don't know. But I have good memories from when I was a kid with Pokemon cards. How you feel about the hobby's impact on your life? Right now, I feel happy. I think the hobby has impacted my life in a really, really good way, as hopefully it has done for a lot of you here in the community. I think by making this channel and getting back into Pokemon cards and really, really enjoying a hobby in a healthy way, it's been really good. It's made me more communicative. Like, I'm very introverted. I have ADHD, I have autism. I will sit here all day, every day on my own and be quite happy. And I do struggle in social situations quite a lot, but for some reason I can talk to camera just fine. But if I go out to an event, like I'm going to try and go to like a pre-release event for Mega Evolutions this weekend, I can guarantee you, I think a couple of you might be there. I think you're actually going to be there. So I don't know, in that kind of environment I'm not very good at talking to people, but it's making me less introverted. It's making me have a bit more of a social life. It's making me have a little bit more of a network of people that are enjoying something that I enjoy. So in that regard, I think it's impacted my life in a good way, in a good way. I do have to find barriers sometimes, because I think sometimes I go too far and I can get too obsessed with something, but generally it's been good. Oh, and then that kind of, has the hobby affected in a positive or negative way your relationships with people? I think I kind of covered that. It's been a good thing. And Pokemon is something I've been able to do with Abby as well, like collect with Abby. We collect 151 together, and she has a lot of history of Pokemon as well, so it's something we've been able to enjoy together. For those that don't know, Abby is my wife. Has the hobby changed your sociability? I think this all ties in. I think I've answered that. How has the hobby affected, changed, influenced your opinion and perspective of your local area? More of a Croydon specific question, with how it has declined over the last decade. I mean, I hadn't been into Croydon for years. It just sort of fell apart, Croydon, but I had been back recently a few times to local card stores because I wanted to go to Forbidden Planet, or I wanted to go to here, there, or wherever it might be. It's pretty depressing, to be honest, because that place is dead, and I much prefer going to Bromley. But I think actually Croydon does have a few more choices for Pokemon cards still. Anyways, next question is from Genko UK. So, do you have a niche collecting goal? E.g. collecting every Snorlax? No, I don't. But I was thinking, well, maybe I do. I haven't started it, but maybe I do have a goal. I have a goal to collect Gardevoir cards. I really like Gardevoir as one of my favourite Pokemon, and not just that, but also I like a lot of the artworks for it. And I think since I pulled the Gardevoir from Scarlet Violet base set, and I really like that artwork, and I was like, this is a good place to start with this. Maybe I'll do this. But I haven't actually done anything like that yet. I mean, my kind of niche collection now is just gone from really liking Destined Rivals, just kind of gone into anything Team Rocket. So I have some stuff that another member of the Discord, Dino, traded me really kindly of some Team Rocket, like original base Team Rocket stuff. So anything Team Rocket related is also a goal. If you started collecting all over again tomorrow, what would you do differently? I would care less. It's different when you're running a YouTube channel, but I would just take it slower. I think when I started, I went all in and I bought a lot of stuff, and I kind of got overwhelmed, and I was trying to collect multiple sets at the same time, and I was trying to complete binders, and I was trying to do master sets of this and all sorts of stuff. I think I'll just take it a bit easier and not just splurge so much at the beginning, because you can suffer a little bit of burnout maybe when you do that. I'll just be like, okay, what's coming out next? Let's open a little bit of it. Take it a lot slower until I have a better understanding, because it takes a long time to build up the understanding and the learning of the hobby, and sort of fitting into the hobby and learning like prices of cards, how to know what prices of cards are, how to price up stuff correctly, you know, where to find stuff at the right prices, not to overpay, that kind of stuff. And that comes with time. And I think when I first rushed in, I was just buying like booster boxes of Vivid Voltage off of Amazon. I couldn't even tell you who I bought them from, but I definitely wasn't getting the best deal. So I think that time to ease myself in and learn and understand, and then probably better know what I wanted to collect. That's what I'd do, I think. Next question, Jimmy Mocker. I think it would be great to see a video telling us what got you back into the hobby again, how it's changed since you've been back in, and what you think the future will look like. Also, can you do this while maybe going through your collection? I'm not going to go through my collection today, but I will go through my collection one day. I am, like I said, doing those short videos of me just going through like my showcase binder. But what was I going to say? I don't know. I think it would be great to see a video telling us what got you back into the hobby again, how it's changed since you've been back in it. I'm not sure 100% what got me back in. Obviously, it was around the time of Vivid Voltage, and I think it was YouTube videos. And that was, I think that was around COVID time. I can't remember. It was around a difficult time in my life. And I got hooked. Just, you know, the way it is when you see something on YouTube and you get back into it. And I'm like, I remember this. And I remember watching a lot of videos of like vintage box breaks. I think there was a time where lots of people were doing that kind of vintage stuff. And obviously that brings nostalgia. And I think the nostalgia kind of captured my interest back in again. And then I started collecting at Vivid Voltage. And then after Vivid Voltage, I was very slow on what I was collecting. Because I had the mindset of I'm going to collect Vivid Voltage and master the set. And I'm not worried about anything else that comes out until I've completed this. And then after that, this is a good few years later, going on to Surgeon Sparks. I'd been steadily collecting a bit of this and that and whatever, not too seriously. And then around the time Surgeon Sparks came out, just before, I'd started playing, I don't know if anyone's ever played it, TCG Simulator. And from playing TCG Simulator, I got recommended some more stuff on YouTube. I don't know, like, they're spying on me, I swear. And I got recommended on YouTube, Chloe's opening a TCG store, like a real life thing. And the connection I got from the game to that was kind of cool, because it was kind of fun seeing the process of them opening a TCG store. Although I now probably I don't align with what they're doing anymore, really, overcharging and that. But those videos kind of got me back in a bit more heavily, because I was already collecting them, but it got me back in more to it. And I ended up going for a master set of Surgeon Sparks, and that's when I splurged and started doing loads of stuff at the same time. That's when I started like trying to do a 151 master set of Abby, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff going on. How it's changed since I've been back in, it's got worse and worse and worse and worse. So Surgeon Sparks, you were able to get stuff reasonably well. And that is my alarm telling me that it's 6 o'clock and I need to make today's video live for you guys. Yeah, since Surgeon Sparks, you were able to get stuff reasonably easy. Then I got a couple of booster boxes and an ETB, like no problem really. And then, yeah, it just got more and more difficult. I know you've probably all experienced that now, but it just feels like it's getting harder and harder. And I thought maybe we'd hit this bubble and it would start to get easier. It seemed around the time when Journey Together came out, I had a thought in my head, oh, okay, Journey Together is a little bit easier to get. Maybe we're on the mend. Maybe things are improving. And then Destined Rivals happened, and Omega Evolutions is happening. I mean, even when it went to Black Bolt and White Flare, I thought that was a little bit easier to get. But then I guess it depends from set to set. But Mega Evolutions is nuts, and Phantasmal Flames has already gone crazy. It's hard. And what do I think the future will look like? I'm not sure. I'm hoping the future might be better. I'm hoping they'll get more of a handle on it. I'm hoping that the bubble might pop at some point. Prices of singles are soaring at the moment. I think with the 30th anniversary approaching, things are only going to get worse. I think they're going to get worse before they get better. Maybe they'll start printing more. I am worried they're slowly going towards like more Japanesey stuff. So they're doing a double set release that they've trialed with Black Bolt and White Flare, and then they've changed the borders and stuff. What I don't want to see is them do something like go down to 5 cards a pack. I like the pack size right now. I hope they don't change that. It would technically increase the amount of packs that we all get, and it would increase the distribution, because that's double the amount of packs. If you go from 10 cards in a pack to 5 in a pack, but I would hope that doesn't change. I hope they just get a handle on it and that one day somehow the scalping is fixed. But honestly, I don't know. Right, next, one of my favorite members, not that I should have favorites of you lot, but Carl was my first ever member of the channel. So you hold a special little place here on the channel. How do you combat FOMO when it comes to product and getting your hands on it? Now, I used to get FOMO a lot. I think it's changed for me since I've started the channel, because I think nowadays I have such a good schedule set up and I know exactly when something's coming out, and I have a really good routine of how I get things on release day. And I will go out release day morning, and that has a lot to do with my job. Allows me that time because I work for myself, so it allows me that time whenever I want to kind of be able to go out in the mornings and stuff, so I don't get so much FOMO, because normally I do manage to get stuff. What I do sorry, say something like Prismatic Figure Collection came out. I knew I didn't want that. I didn't get it. A lot of people would be FOMO'd into that just because it's Prismatic Evolutions. I don't like the set, but people would think, oh my god, I have to get it because otherwise it's going to be however much money. I would say the best way to combat FOMO is to remember that there's always going to be another product. Pokemon's not going anywhere tomorrow. There might be a card you want right now, but guess what? Then another set's going to come out and there's going to be another card you want, and then another set's going to come out and there's going to be more cards, and then there's going to be another one and more cards and more cards, and for years and years and years and years and forever onwards. Okay, so getting worried about getting something right now it sucks if you miss out, and that's where this whole people paying scalping prices comes in. I think we need to just suck it up and not get FOMO. If you miss out, you miss out. Draw a line under it. Next product, I'll try again. Or if you get lucky later on down the line in store or something like that. But do not give in. Do not give in to paying scalper prices. Like I said, I think it's a bit different for me because I have a whole spreadsheet and a whole Excel sheet set out for my budget, exactly what I've got to spend on Pokemon cards, when products are coming out, how much those products are worth. And I have the whole lot written out, so I know exactly what I'm going to target, exactly what I'm not going to target. And I think actually having a channel has helped me budget and manage this stuff a lot better, because I see a lot of you getting FOMO over stuff. Actually, just try and remember there's always going to be something else. So try not to get caught up in it. Yeah, if you do miss out, just say, oh well, doesn't matter, another day. Mesmar says, how should I store cards in binders? I've used Dragon Shield sleeves which fit perfectly but are expensive. I've not heard of Dragon Shield sleeves. Penny sleeves are cheap but are hit and miss and sometimes get caught in the slots. Any suggestions? I've never really had an issue with penny sleeves. I do understand where you're coming from about them getting caught in the slots. That comes for me when I've tried Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro, for whatever reason, are slightly bigger or slightly taller sleeve, so they do catch because they are very, very snug. I've started using, I'm going to show you. I have started using these. I don't know if you can see that. They are M Lycro penny sleeves. They fit perfectly. They have been my favorite sleeves. Them or Volt X sleeves are the ones that I've used recently, and these have become my go-to because I think they're actually even cheaper than Ultra Pro. So I would suggest them 100%. You don't need to spend loads of money on Dragon Shield sleeves. Sorry, I really don't know what those are, but yeah, those fit a little bit better and they won't get caught in your binders. So yeah, I would recommend them 100%. them recommend them. I'm sorry. Right, Science Pie. Hello, Science Pie, one of my other core members, one of my first members of the Discord. What's your money no question dream card? I thought about this for a long time, and it ties into your second question. What's a now out of print set you wish you'd got a chance to collect? Now, money no question dream card, there's a few. I really like the Lugia, first edition Lugia. I think the first edition Charizard would obviously be one. But I don't know. I like the Gengar, like in a tag team with the Mimikyu. But I think genuinely, and this ties into what set I wish I could collect now. or which I got a chance to collect, would be Gym Heroes, and I'd probably pick as my card to buy, no money, no object, would be the Moltres in the Gym Heroes. I think it's Blaine's Moltres. I would go with that 100%. I think Gym Heroes would be the set that I wish I had got a chance to collect, and I wish I was still collecting then. I'm not sure what happened at that age of my childhood, but obviously I was not involved for a little while. So yeah, I think Gym Heroes and then the Blaine's Moltres I'm going to go with 100%. Somnus says, what is your favourite Pokemon and why? I don't have a favourite. I have 100 favourites. When it was just 151, I used to like Pikachu. Starters, I used to pick all the different ones. I didn't always start with the same ones, so I think maybe Bulbasaur would have been my favourite of the three. I always like the legendary birds, so Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno. And then I've always liked Dragonite, or the whole evolution line, Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite. I have always liked those three, and then Mew as well. I think as the times have gone on, Gardevoir has been one that I really like. Kyogre, or however you want to pronounce that, and Rayquaza, because I played that game to death. Ruby and Sapphire, when those games came out on the Game Boy, so they hold a place as well. But I don't actually have a real favourite. I like Gengar as well, actually. But yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't answer that 100%. But yeah, one of those. Right, Super Buff Nerd question. I want to get started on making a deck for playing the TCG. What are some good pointers to go with? Look at playable decks online. I haven't played too much of the TCG, I'll be honest with you, so I'm not going to be very good at answering this. If this isn't relevant because you don't do the TCG playing part, then I would ask, oh, here we go, bonus question. What makes a good binder quality, and what doesn't make a good binder? Okay, I'm going to show you. Now, you guys probably already know I'm going to champion Voltex right here, as I am absolutely going to do. I think when you're looking for a good binder, you want one like this. You do not want a ring binder. You want a closed zip binder. This stops any dust getting into your cards, which is so important. And you want something that when you put the cards in is side loading. Oh, as a jumbo card just fell out. Lovely. You want something that's going to be side loading. So basically, the reason you want a side loading binder is because when you put a card in a sleeve, obviously they're top loaded, so you put them in the top. You don't want dust to get into the top. Now you put it in the sleeve, right? So if you then put it in a side loading pocket, the dust can't fall directly from above into the sleeve. So even if it falls into the side, it's not going to get into the top. If you've then got the zip around it, you're protecting your cards better than anything else can protect your cards. So Voltex are my absolute go-to. There are other ones out there. There are other people in the Discord that will share some other ones. But my go-to and my shout-out is Voltex. I'm just going to leave this here. Right, okay. And then things to avoid. Avoid top loading binders. Massively avoid ring binders. If you put too many cards or too many pages into a ring binder, the rings can dent the cards and cause damage to the cards. You do not want that. Make sure it's got a zip on it. Anything that hasn't got a zip on is going to get dirty, and you don't want any of that stuff either. Yeah, they're my main pointers really. You can get the ones with a strap that go around, like a rubber strap to hold it shut. I don't really like them either, because that can also, again, indent the cards, and you don't want that. Next, we are going to Treadhead. Question for the Q&A. Would you rather be attacked by 100 Quaxly-sized Snorlaxes or one Snorlax-sized Quaxly? I've got Fly here, and it's really getting to me. Right, okay, this question. I thought about this because I did read it before. I think I'd have to get attacked by 100 Quaxly-sized Snorlaxes. I think I'd have more chance. It's like that whole, would 100 people beat a gorilla or whatever it is. I think I'd stand more of a chance fighting a bunch of little Snorlaxes that are basically just balls with little arms and feet. And I could probably just roll them away. I don't know. Rather than fighting a Snorlax-sized Quaxly, I don't think I'd stand much of a chance. Although if any of them are actually using Pokemon moves, then I might not stand a chance either way. But I'd fancy my chances more against 100 Craxy size Snorlaxes. Right, next question from Welser. Hey dude, hope you're well. Didn't know if questions like what is the reason for collecting Pokemon cards, and then explain what ways people are collecting them, and then explain yours. Okay, and then favorite cards, reason, etc. Okay, yeah. Maybe future sets you're looking forward to and why. Hope this helps, and keep up the great videos, bud. Sorry I haven't been as active recently. That's fine. That's fine. If you've been ill, it's fine. You've got other priorities than buying a house and stuff as well, so don't worry about it. I think I've kind of explained like the different ways to collect when we spoke about if I was going to do a master set, or if I was going to collect in a different way, or collect specifically Gardevoir cards and things like that. So I think I've covered that. So I'm going to skip over that one. Favorite cards, reasons. Do you know what? Some of my favorite cards. This is going to bug me now because I can't remember what set it's from. But the Mewtwo V-Star and the Charizard V-Star. One of them's a promo. I think the Mewtwo is the promo and the Charizard is actually in the set. And you get from both perspectives where they're fighting each other. Those two are two of my absolute favorite cards. I love that perspective. I love the way those two are two different cards work together. I quite like a lot of the cards that do that have like that join to. I quite like a lot of the cards that join together, or artworks to go across multiple cards. I do kind of like that style. But I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a retro person. I do like a lot of like the base set stuff. What I think, and I don't know if you've noticed this actually, guys, or anyone that's watching, the Lucario that's coming out on the Mega Evolution set, the SIR, it has that same vibe as what I was just talking about the Mewtwo and the Charizard. So it's Lucario fighting Venusaur. So I was wondering if at some point we're going to get a promo of the Venusaur perspective of that fighting the Lucario. That would be pretty cool. Maybe future sets you're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Phantasmal Flames massively. I think the cards in that set look really good. I'm looking forward to having those like... you know, like you have the text across the card. I think that's really cool. And the Charizard card is amazing. So I am super looking forward to that one. And it's a smaller set, so I'm going to try and master it, I think. I have in my head that I'm going to try and master that set. As a smaller set, it should be easier. We'll see how we go. Was that my last question? I think that was my last question. I don't think I have any more questions. That's good. I managed to cover all of your questions. Yeah, that's it. I've gone through them all. I'm going to do this quite regularly, so if you want to get your question onto me for me to answer, then next time I put this out, I did ask for questions in the Discord, and I did put a post on YouTube as well asking for your questions. If you didn't get a question this time, or you want to ask another one next time, more stupid questions like if I want to fight some Snorlaxes, go ahead. I'll probably do another one in a couple of months. I don't want to do them too regularly because they'll probably get quite boring and repetitive. But yeah, 100% ask me anything. It doesn't have to be Pokemon related, just like life, whatever. But yeah, we can mainly talk about Pokemon, I guess. But yeah, hopefully some more sets or some more stuff would have come out since then. A little bit of news is that we recently got news of the Paldea Fates premium box that's coming out in December, but we don't have an actual date, so that's interesting seeing Paldea Fates come back so long after it was first launched. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. I hope I've answered all your questions as well as I could have done, and that you enjoyed this different type of content. I'm also considering doing like a weekly showcase for everyone that's put pulls and hits in the Pulls and Hits channel on the Discord, so that I can shout you out and give you a little bit more of a showcase of some of the best cards that are being pulled over there in the Discord. Yeah, apart from that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't, then like, comment and subscribe. Join the Discord. Consider becoming a member and supporting me a little bit more. But no pressure if you don't want to, obviously. Yeah, I will see you all soon.